Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add the settlement for workers' compensation claim for a Michael Carter. I'd like to add it to number 6 under new business.
Okay, let me see, number 6, okay. Do I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. The agenda has been amended. At this time, we will start with the presentations and proclamations. I would ask Dr. Ledbetter to...
I would be happy to. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes. This evening, the county would like to recognize for 30 years of dedicated service for Superior Court Clerk Debbie Brooks. Debbie Brooks is a dedicated public servant and the elected clerk of Superior and State Courts in Spalding County, Georgia. She began her career in the Clerk of Courts office July 5th, 1995, and was promoted many times over the years until she ran for office and was first elected in 2018. She has served with distinction and brings more than 30 years of total service to Spalding County government. As a constitutional officer, Ms. Brooks plays a vital role in the administration of justice, overseeing the maintenance of court records, the protection of public funds, and the delivery of essential legal services. Under her leadership, the clerk's office has embraced modernization and accessibility. She led the implementation of Odyssey e-file, a digital filing system that streamlines court document submissions, and introduced online notary public applications, making it easier for residents to manage their credentials. Ms. Brooks is also deeply engaged in community outreach. She supports and promotes programs such as family law workshops in the 6th District Alternative Dispute Resolution Program, which provide valuable resources to individuals navigating the legal system. Her office collaborates with local organizations like Promise Place, a domestic violence support service, to ensure that vulnerable populations have access to justice and protection. Throughout her 30-plus years of service, Ms. Brooks has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the citizens of Spalding County. Her institutional knowledge, leadership, and commitment to innovation have made her a trusted steward of the court system. Re-elected in 2024, she continues to serve with integrity, ensuring that the clerk's office remains a cornerstone of trust and accountability in the community. It is our privilege, Mr. Chair, to recognize Ms. Debbie Brooks. Good days where we get to recognize people. So we're really happy for today. This time I'd like the warden to come forward.
and thank you for the opportunity to recognize two of our employees. I'm going to start with ladies first, so Ms. Dodgel, you can come up here with me, please. Come on. I want everybody to see your smile. Ms. Dodgel actually started with the Department of Corrections in 1996. She was hired by Spalding County in July of 2005. I might say she started at the age of 14. And she was promoted to corporal in 2015. I think actually one of my first promotions that I did when I come to Spalding. She is a corporal on the evening shift, and she is, please don't take this the wrong way, but she is the motherly figure for the CI. She's the one that comforts folks and takes care of them and lifts them up when they need to be lifted up. So she's extremely valuable. She has incredible talent for making baskets, and made actually hundreds of them for folks around the county, including the CI. So we thank you for everything you do, and look forward to you working many, many, many more years.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also Corporal Norman Parks. If you would please come up here. Mr. Parks is the last employee that's still employed with Spalding County to have transferred from the old CI to the current CI. He actually started in 2000, and I think shortly thereafter the new CI opened, and he is the last of those employees to make that transfer. He was promoted shortly thereafter within the same year to corporal, and has been in that position ever since. He is a jack of all trades. If you look that up in the dictionary, I guess I don't know nobody do that anymore, but look that up in the dictionary. There's a picture of him there. He can fix anything with a computer, air conditioning unit, hot water heater, lock. It doesn't matter. He can fix all those things. So he is an extremely valuable person, and has saved this county many, many, many thousands of dollars over the years, and fixing stuff. He's very quiet. He also the only person I know of that has a photographic memory. He knows every one of the 225 inmates at our facility by name and by picture, and can recognize what detail they're on simply by looking at their face when they walk out that gate. And he does that within a day or so of each one of them arriving at the facility. Wow. Never seen anything like it. So it doesn't matter where our population is, 225 or 384, he could do that with all of them. So another extremely valuable person. He started when he was 14 as well. So with that, I would like to recognize Corporal Stodgel and Corporal Parks for their many years of dedicated service to Spalding County.
We're all coming down, Ward. We're all coming down. Right up in the middle. Next on our agenda is a proclamation declaring July 19th as our Legacy Museum Day. If I could ask Commissioner Dutton to please read the proclamation.
It's my absolute honor. Spalding County proclamation designating July 19th as our Legacy Museum Day. Whereas our Legacy Museum stands as a testament to the rich history, perseverance, and achievements of the African American community in Spalding County, Georgia. And whereas the historic site and national treasure, formerly known as Fairmont Vocational High School, is a Rosenwald school that embodies the enduring commitment of education and opportunity made possible through the visionary collaboration between Booker T. Washington and Julius Rosenwald. And whereas on January 4th, 1929, the Griffin-Spalding County Board of Education voted to accept funding from the Rosenwald Fund to construct a new school, a decision that was met with unwavering support of local residents who contributed both financial resources and labor to bring the vision to life. And whereas the Spalding County community demonstrated a profound commitment to education and the opportunities it provides, firmly believing in the power of learning to uplift and transform communities. And whereas the Rosenwald schools played a pivotal role in providing quality education to African American students in the early 20th century, fostering generations of leaders, educators, and change makers who have shaped the course of history. And whereas our Legacy Museum continues to preserve, honor, and share the stories of those who walked its halls, ensuring that future generations understand the struggles and triumphs of those who came before. And whereas the celebration of our Legacy Museum Day allows us to reflect on the importance of education, community, and cultural heritage while inspiring ongoing efforts to safeguard and promote this historical landmark. And whereas Spalding County encourages all citizens to honor the legacy of this institution by engaging in educational programs, visiting the museum, and recognizing the contributions of those who fought for access to knowledge and opportunity. Now therefore be it resolved by the Spalding County Board of Commissioners that July 19th, 2025 is recognized as our Legacy Museum Day in Spalding County. Motion to approve.
I have a motion. All those in favor?
Is someone here to,
I also would like to make a comment about the things that Commissioner Dutton has personally done to be able to get this thing to come to fruition.
committee member?
If you're supposed to be up here, or think you're supposed to, come on up here. If you all haven't been, I would recommend you take the time to be able to go and see that this is something for our community, and it's really something to look out for. At this time, I'd ask Ms. Carmichael to stay with us and please give us the proclamation designing July 2025 as the Park and Rec Month for Spalding County.
Thank you so much. It's my distinct privilege to recite this proclamation on behalf of our amazing Parks and Leisure Services team in the community. Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout the country, including Spalding County. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a space for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas Spalding County recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now therefore, be it resolved by Spalding County Board of Commissioners that July is recognized as Parks and Recreation Month in the County of Spalding.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Thank you. Just as we're getting all set up again, I want to make a comment about when things happen, like COVID, Parks and Rec really and truly was a lifesaver for our county. Everybody had a place to be able to go and everybody was afraid of doing that. So when we talked about Parks and Rec, everybody said, it was a lifesaver for many people in our community. Citizen comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting and provide their names, addresses, and the topics they wish to discuss. Speakers must direct your comments to the board and not to individual commissioners or to the audience. Personal disagreements with individual commissioners or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The chairman has the right to limit your comments in the interest of disposing of the county's business in an efficient and respectful manner. Speakers will be allocated 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topic as they relate to matters pertaining to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speakers will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend this rule. Everybody knows the 3-minute clock will be right there where it says 6:23. In a minute, it'll say 3 minutes. And we will keep a buzzer up here. All right, Dr. Ledbetter, do we have folks that have signed up to speak?
Yes, sir, we do. Mike Lassiter, if you will, please step forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Well, I'm Mike Lassiter, 1415 Vineyard Road, Griffin. Every time I've come before this board, I've tried to always speak with courtesy and respect. You know, I met one of the commissioners a while back, and I was referred to one of those troublemakers that comes in and gives us a hard time. Things I've said has never really been paid attention to in the past, but I hope you think about some of what I say tonight. The first thing I'd like to ask is, go back, you commissioners, and anyone that speaks into the meeting, please go back and listen to the last few meetings with your TV or your computer and see that you can't hear yourself. There's typically a couple of people that we can hear very well, and I can run my TV at 100, max it'll go, and I can't get the meeting. I have to get an additional amp on a computer to be able to hear the last few meetings. So that's the first thing I've got to say. We've had several times I've been down and we've talked about trash. I thought we had this trash collection center ironed out a couple of years ago. I was promised we will not close the collection centers. Well, you know, we started out with signs all over. They'll be open all the days of the year except 3 days. 3 days a year we're going to close them. That was what we started with. That was what we were promised. Then we went to they were closing them 3 days a week plus those 3 days. A couple of years ago we looked at closing on Monday. A room full of people came in and said no. You got a lot of emails and phone calls, and you come in and you voted no, we're going to leave them open. We said we're going to leave them open. Now, they're open 2 days a week, and you're going to rotate those 2 days. Now, people's going to say, oh, mine's open on Monday this week, and they're going to run over there on Monday. Oh, it's closed. And I'm on my way to work. I've got this 2 bags of trash. I've got to do something. They're going out. I found trash on my front yard just a couple of weeks ago. Called the, in Spalding, gave me the information. The trash had name and addresses on the trash. Hopefully somebody got charged with that. But I think the trash collection center, we're just working towards where everybody is sick and tired of it, and we close the whole thing down. My house is 450 feet from the road. My driveway's 600 feet. I'm 75 years old. I don't want to be carting my trash down to the road. Taking it off to the collection center works much better for most of our county, and that has been what we have said we wanted.
Thank you, sir. We
Thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
time.
Tommy Rowland.
Dr. Ledbetter, can we look into the AV, that's what I'm looking for, the AV issues, and make sure that we're getting it recorded?
Absolutely, we will definitely look into
I mean,
that.
it might be an individual microphone or something that's out or something.
Might be, yes, sir. Mr. Rowland, if you would, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, my name's Tommy Rowland. I live on 1614 Weaverson Road. And I would just like to talk about the Mystic Acres. I know they've been there since I think about 2019, and we live probably 1,500 feet from them. And there's always been a problem with noise and stuff like that. At times it's not bad, but at times it's really bad. And my wife now, in the past few years, she's developed a heart problem. She's had to wear a heart monitor, and the cardiologist says that the music from there is actually interfering with her heart and causing it to do different things. And so I would like for them to have some kind of rules down there to where they didn't play so loud and they didn't play so long. They have no insulation there for sound or anything. With the line of houses right across the road there, and I don't know why they was approved. They don't even have enough land to meet what needs to be done over there. But somehow they've got approved, and it's been nothing but, we've been doing this for years and years now, and now it's got to where it's gonna cost my wife maybe her life or something. And I see where y'all, for years and years, they never even had a permit for down there. And we'd call the sheriff, and they would go over there and tell them to tone it down. They didn't have a permit, and they would turn it down for a while, and then it'd come right back up. Well, now they've got to where, I guess, after so long of doing that, they've come to y'all and they get a permit. And on the permit, it states plainly on there that the applicant can only get one permit every 30 days, but yet they get 15 of them in a month. And one person got 9, another person there got 3, another got 3. So, and then also on the permit, it states that they have to state on there that they have contacted everybody there in the vicinity, stating that they're gonna have a thing there, for loud noise. Well, I've never been contacted one time by them to ask you anything about it. So for the past 5 years, all they have done is break the rules, and like now it's got to where it's hard on me, it's hard on my wife. Right now I have the ceiling out of my house, I'm knocking the walls down. I'm putting new insulation in and everything just to try to have her room that she can actually stay there. At times we have to get up and leave the house for the noise. And it's not right that y'all keep approving these and don't put no rules on them where they need some kind of something to keep the sound in the building or a limiter switch to cut the music off when it gets so loud. They could do it easily. If y'all would take care of this, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Annie Bean. Hey, Miss Annie, if you would please state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir.
Pull that mic there.
My name is Annie Bean. My address is 80 Lake Park Circle, Griffin, Georgia. Okay, good evening. Respected county commissioners and county departments. It was once said that gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parents of all. On behalf of the seniors at the Spalding County Senior Center and myself, we stand before you today with an immense gratitude in our hearts. The rubberized walking track was already a significant improvement, but knowing that you heard us truly listen, I'm sorry,
We understand.
but knowing that you heard us and truly listened and took action to extend and rubberize the entire track, it makes this moment even more meaningful. This track represents more than a place to walk. It is a commitment to our well-being, a recognition of the value of senior health, and a testament to what can be achieved when leadership and community come together. We appreciate each person who played a role in bringing this project to life. Those who worked diligently behind the scenes, who advocated for us, and who saw the importance of making this space the best it could be. Though we won't call names, please know that your dedication was not gone unnoticed. You have given us a space that promotes movement, connection, and overall well-being. And by approving the rubberized extension, you have not only improved the track, you've enhanced the quality of life for every senior who will walk on it today and for years to come. With heartfelt appreciation, we stand here as living proof of the impact of your leadership and vision. Thank you for investing in us, for believing in the importance of senior spaces, and for making this possible. We will use this track with joy, gratitude, and a deep appreciation of what has been done for us. So, on behalf of everyone standing here, myself, and those that could not attend, we thank each of you.
And we appreciate you coming and letting us hear that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Brooke Jackson.
Good afternoon. My name's Brooke Jackson. I live at 1749 Future Road in Griffin, Georgia. That's a hard group to follow. I hope to come back later and give a speech like that on the collection centers. Because if y'all can do these great things that I'm hearing about, we can straighten these collection center out, I'm sure. I'd like to bring up the fact that District 2 does not have a collection center to dump at no longer since Aiken has been closed. There's no option in the area except to go outside the area. And like the gentleman stated before, when these people go and it's not open like it always has been, it ends up on the side of the road. I passed 3 bags of trash on the way here tonight on Future Road. I came earlier to listen to the board in the work session. I like stuff I hear. I love the green space ideas. But if our green spaces are covered in trash, we're not going to get there. We've got to fix the collection center issue. We got to explore new ideas, new ways. And like I said, you guys are doing great work on other things. I think we can get it done. Please take into consideration that District 2 does not have a collection station open at this time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Penny Barber.
Good evening. I'm Penny Barber. I live at 58 Montgomery Drive in Griffin, Georgia.
I want to talk about the Aquatic Center and the free pass. I'm not sure what it costs to run the Aquatic Center, and I don't even know what we charge. But if people are walking in free, it's costing the taxpayers money to keep that center running. And I certainly don't want people to not be able to swim, but I think there should be a fee for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kim Slaughter.
She gets really short, but it's here.
Kimberly Slaughter, 165 Slaughter Road, Spalding County. I'm here this evening on behalf of, as Elections Director for Spalding County, and wanted to share some information with you about the upcoming July 15th special primary runoff. It is as follows. So next Tuesday, July 15th, is Election Day. All precincts will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This election is for the special primary runoff for Public Service Commission District 3, Democratic contest only. Advance voting began today and will run through the 11th, Friday, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. The location is at our office, 825 Memorial Drive, Griffin, Georgia. July 7th, which is today, is the deadline to apply for an absentee ballot by mail, but you can still do that by 12 midnight tonight. You can either do that through the Secretary of State site or emailing spaldingelections@spaldingcounty.com. Voter registration deadline for the July runoff was May 19th. It coincides with the same as the June primary, as the July runoff is a continuation of the June primary. Wanted to share with you which voters are eligible to vote in the July 15th election. If a voter casts a Democratic ballot in the June special primary, he or she is eligible to vote in the July 15th special primary runoff. If a voter did not participate in the June special primary but wishes to participate in the July runoff and cast a Democratic ballot, he or she is eligible to vote in this election. If a voter's choice was to cast a Republican ballot in the June special primary, he or she is not eligible to vote in the July 15th special primary runoff, as the only item for the July 15th runoff is a Democratic contest, and you must follow party to party if you vote in a primary to the runoff. You can check your voter registration status at my voter page. I've also brought some flyers with me, if it's okay with the commission, that I leave back at the back for you. And of course, you're always welcome to phone our office if you have any questions. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, that's all who have signed up this evening.
Thank you all that came forward to speak. This time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the June 2nd, 2025 regular meeting and the June 16th, 2025 extraordinary meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion, yeah, both.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hands. 5-0, motion carries. New business. We had an opportunity to discuss during the workshop earlier this afternoon for the Parks and Leisure Services Advisory Commission for young residents in the Aquatic Center to fee-free through the end of fiscal year 2026. Is the Board of Commissioners ready to proceed with a motion to continue the fee-free admission for students at the Aquatic Center at this time?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve the continuation of school-age Spalding County children for free admission to the Aquatic Center until the end of fiscal year 26.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to say that I was very surprised because for the first year, we budgeted $1.1 million in M&O. And I don't know what the last numbers are, but the last numbers that we received were more than $300,000 more than we expected to receive. So we actually or $300,000 ahead. The other thing is that what I had hoped would happen would be that the school system would come forward and try and make some arrangements, which we all know that we have partnerships with the school system in terms of sporting and using buildings and whatever. And these kids in this community have been without aquatic recreation for more than 5 years. Nothing. So I just think that in terms of us relooking at this in a year, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Okay. Commissioner Dutton?
So we even had someone come in to echo what I was going to say about this tonight. Things mean more to you when you are paying for them. When you've got a stake in the game, even if it's $2, it means more than just a place that's just open to you. And don't get me wrong, I take my kids to, I have 2 kids. I take them all the time. My wife goes all the time. And, getting them in free has saved me a ton of money, but it shouldn't. This, we're looking at this estimate of $21,000. That means, so that'd be 35, 36, nearly $1,000. That means that 10, 15 households paid their entire county property taxes so that kids could swim for free. And I just don't think that's fair. And again, I'm the one who's benefiting from it. I take my kids there all the time to swim. And I just don't think that's fair. I know that doesn't still cover the M&O. The M&O is hundreds of thousands. But, at no point during the SPLOS discussion, no point during the SPLOS vote, at no point until literally last year when it was discussed here, was it ever discussed, was it ever planned that this was going to be a free pool for kids? That was never on the agenda. In fact, just the opposite. The schools were going to pay us to offset the cost of the M&O. The swim teams were going to pay us to offset the cost of the M&O. And yet here we are, a county on a shoestring budget. This is a lot of money for a lot of people, and I think it's going to mean more to the kids if they've got to go and set up a lemonade stand or whatever they got to do to get $2 to come in. And I don't care necessarily what the price is if we want to change it from 6 and 8 to 2 and 3. But some kind of stake in it, it will make the pool and the aquatic center mean more for them. I don't think this is free. I'm against extending this.
Well, I was totally against, Mr. Chairman, spending $15,000 on fireworks that go straight up in the air and nobody actually benefits from it. So if we're going to start picking and choosing what we think is important, then I think we need to start a whole list. This is a community where the census says that the median income is $80,000. That is $80,000 for those people who have meaningful work. The real demographics in this community mean that we have multiple people living under poverty level. And most children, 70%, I would say, 60 or 70%, are living under the poverty level. There is no expectation. Who are they going to sell lemonade to over in front of Fairmont Homes? Who are they going to sell lemonade to in front of Spalding Heights? Who are they going to sell lemonade to behind Belks? So while I think it's magnanimous, and I think that if you have to pay for college yourself, yeah, it means a lot more. But if you're a 6-year-old kid, that doesn't mean anything that you got to pay $2 so you can go and get in some water and play. So I respect what you're saying, and I believe I can understand where you're coming from with it, but I don't think that if we can justify fireworks, that we can't justify allowing some arrangements for these kids. I mean, we did the same thing with the seniors. We decided that making sure that they had Meals on Wheels. That's not our job in the county, but we know that we have people who need. We have older people who are poor who need those meals, and we felt that it was important. So I think it just depends on where you're standing. And the population of people that I'm sure that are in Mr. Dutton's district is vastly different from the population of people that are in my district, in Reggie's district. Maybe even Ryan's, I'm not sure. But I can only speak to that, so.
Okay. Any other comments from other commissioners? Reggie, okay. Any more discussion?
No, sir.
Last minute? All right. Well, let me ask a question. Our budget is set up with free fee this year?
Our budget is designed this year for fee-free for students this year, yes, sir.
Okay.
Has there been any more discussions on the splash pads with the impact fees and everything with the city? Aren't we working something out with them too?
We are working to bring a splash pad design to you in August for consideration.
And that timeline would be building it next year, or like starting it so it would be ready for next year?
It would be starting it so that it would be ready for next year.
Okay. All those in favor of free fee at the pool for young kids, please raise your hand. All those opposed, like sign. Thank you. I'd like to make a comment at this time about the absolute wonderful diversity of thought that our board has. It is really, you may not understand it if you're not paying attention to all the votes. We pretty well have a diverse thinking group of coming at the issues from different sides. We, as a county, are lucky that we have that kind of board. If all of us were all like Miss Gwynn, or if all of us were like Commissioner Dutton, it would be a different story. But we have the opportunity to all speak, respect each other, vote on what we think is best for the community, and then move on to the next issue. So I thank the board for that. Okay. Let me find out where we are, just once.
Oh, still up.
Kelly.
Not anywhere.
All right. Consider an out-of-state motor coach request. We heard the staff, we were gonna hear the staff approach us about the motor coach in compliance with county policy and funding requirements traveling to the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad.
Oh, that's a great trip.
Yes, it is county policy that any out-of-state motor coach trip be approved by the Board of Commissioners before it can be advertised and promoted. So on October 28th, they will depart for the Blue Ridge Railway and returning next day on October 29th. The fees align with the driver's wage and the cost calculations that are applied by policy, and those fees will be reimbursed through the fee to travel.
Okay, zero sum to us.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, I wanted to talk about that, Kelly.
Let's get we have a motion to.
Motion to approve the request to travel out of state with the motor coach.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Now discussion.
I know that we're collecting enough to pay for the driver and like the wear and tear on the bus, but are we collecting enough so that we can sort of amortize buying a new bus when this one wears out?
There's no amortization in this fee.
Okay.
We should not.
There's fuel, there's maintenance, and there's driver wage.
Good point.
And
But if we
benefits.
added $10, $5, whatever it's going to be, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
then we don't have to come back on another SPLOST or something for a new
It's a
just-
good thought that I hadn't had. So thank you.
projecting out, kind of. I mean, it's 10, 15 years away. Those
Yes.
things last a long time. But
All right. All those in any other
yes,
discussion?
uh-huh.
I'm sorry, Ms. Quinn.
I would just like to say that great minds think alike. My question was, we are 4 years into the new bus.
Has it been that already?
I'm feeling like it's
More
three or four.
three.
And so when we got the bus, basically for year one, we had 0 M&O because we were under the guarantee. So my thought processes are that as we have been talking leisure
bless.
services about having a line item that deals with M&O for simple building stuff and carpet and that kind of thing, that we definitely need to do something in terms of the bus, because it is getting aged with each year. And rather than when it gets to the place that it's starting to break, if there is a budgeted line item that addresses minor repairs or, I don't know, some kind of car thing that needs to be fixed after a certain number of miles. Not really sure on that technical part. But yeah, that there is a fund for that, so that you don't have to come back when you need new brakes and say, can y'all give me money?
Yeah.
If there is a fund, and maybe you won't use it, but if you allow it to accumulate as the vehicle ages,
Right.
there will be money.
Yeah, like if we added $10 per person and then put 5 towards a repair and 5 towards a replacement, you know what I'm saying? Then it wouldn't have to, anyway, just kind of spitballing.
Sinking
Yeah,
fund concept.
So
yeah.
we're thinking of the same thing. We
Mr.
still
Chair.
kindly got a new bus, but you know stuff is gonna start breaking on it.
Mr. Chair, with the board's approval, we would like to bring that back to you for January as we update all of our fee schedules across the county, because I think that there does need to be a sinking fund that is designed specifically for replacement and a sinking fund designed specifically for M&O for that particular piece of equipment. And it would give us time over the next 5.5 months to do the calculations for their amortization table plus the M&O table.
Okay,
Thank
that's all I had.
Anybody else? All right, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you, Director. Consider approval of the grant award, Criminal Justice Coordinating Council 2026 Accountability Funding Program. Is the Board of Commissioners ready to proceed with the acceptance of $200,952 from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for the 2026 Accountability Funding Program?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have a question, because
Yes.
I missed this in the workshop. Now, you said this is for the accountability court, so this is a different grant than the grant that has generally paid the judge's salary and the staff's salary in the accountability court?
It's the same grant. This is our annual update to that specific grant program. This is the annual amount that we receive through that program.
So that grant award amount hasn't increased any?
It's 192 plus the 30,000. It's on the screen. It's 170,809, and then the 30,143, which is our contributing amount to it that accounts for the 200,952.
So
It stays basically the same every year. Yes, ma'am.
I did say I wasn't gonna ask very many questions, but I have to ask this because it says it's for the mental health court, and then it says a project type is mental health court. And so are we already doing a mental health court?
That's the accountability court. Yes, ma'am.
And
drug
vets.
court and a veterans mental health court. And they're both fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
Judge Esri runs that.
So, yeah, I was just thinking this was different money. It's that
It's
same
the
money.
same.
Okay,
Yes,
that's all
ma'am.
the question I had.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, our accountability courts really are the envy of the surrounding counties.
Yes.
I can't tell you. I was in court this morning via Zoom in Henry County going, surely you guys have some sort of I have a client with a real mental health issue. Surely you've got, and we don't. So that person is now being taken care of by McIntosh Trail because they don't have, Henry County doesn't have the resources that we have for mental health. So we're really lucky to have what we have.
Yes.
And Judge Esri and Judge Thacker are really killing it over there.
And it's going to get better because of Commissioner Flowers Taylor leading
That's right.
our ad hoc committee. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Thank you. Consideration of the lease with Spalding County Collaborative Authority regarding the property known as Henlighter. The next item on the agenda is for the BOC to consider the lease of the property to Spalding County Collaborative, excuse me, thank you, Authority. We had an opportunity to discuss this matter during the workshop earlier today. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the lease with the Spalding County Collaborative Authority regarding Heinleiter property.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
This will mean that Waypoint will move over there too, right?
That
Out
is
of the-
correct.
Okay.
This, we cannot lease directly with Waypoint.
Right.
We lease to the collaborative, and they would be the only subleasee allowed.
I wanted to bring up here, maybe it's a good time, that we went and toured where Waypoint currently is and the jail upstairs. It's quite the historic legacy. If you guys haven't gone up and taken a tour, it's something to behold. Just to remind you how far we've come in Spalding County. But there is a lot of interest from around the state in historically preserving it, and whether that is through the state or actually through a trust, but making it no longer the taxpayer's burden to keep up the building, but to have a historic preservation group, whether it's the Georgia Historic Trust or otherwise, come in and keep that as a historical monument for us.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I could just make one comment about that, I will be totally opposed to that. Because when I think of how many of my sisters and brothers that I know that hung from that jail, from this community, preserving that building is to me would be a slap in the face to any person of color. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I lived in the 60s in Spalding County, and there were multiple people that died from strange circumstances in that jail. So I don't know who wants to come in and do that, but I will certainly be the person in the front saying not just no, but hell no.
Okay. Any other discussion?
You do.
All those in favor? I'm sorry. Reggie, did you say something? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Motion carries. The Board of Commissioners will consider the reimbursement of half the cost of the 4th of July fireworks display from the past weekend. The cost to the county is $12,500, and we would ask that the county manager to find the funds to offset the expense using FY25 funds. We have the opportunity to discuss this matter during the workshop earlier this afternoon. Is the board ready to proceed with a motion?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman, to fund one half the cost of the 2025 fireworks reimbursement to the city of Griffin.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Any more discussion?
I just want to say I was kind of upset a little bit about it because I mean that's when I was a kid that was a big deal seeing the fireworks, and when I was approached by one of the city folks saying I don't understand why y'all didn't put to it, 'cause we never really talked about it. I know we kind of mentioned it one time about wants and needs, but then I'd never heard anything else really about it, and it just kind of I was kind of ashamed there for a second. So when I got the phone call about doing it, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion? I'd like
Just
to
for
make
the record, Mr. Chairman, I would like you to know that that commissioner in his meeting said that he was approached by commissioners from Spalding County. So just so you know, it's not what you do and what you say. So yeah, I know you didn't approach him.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's what was said in their meeting. It's on recording.
I remember when we did this, when we discussed this, we were in the heart of the budget, and we were trying hard at that time to reduce the millage rate to be able to go down, and every penny was looked at. Now that we've got the budget, County Manager, are you able to come up with $12,500 to be able to do this?
Yes.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman, since we're in this spot, I never quite understood how we got there. We paid $15,000 a year since I can remember. I don't think it was ever anything less than that. We didn't know who bought the fireworks. We never contracted with anyone. We didn't have anything to do with it except for doing the fireworks. I don't have those fond memories of fireworks when I was a kid, and that's great that's something I think everybody wants to have that. But when we talk about raising the bar, we don't need to just spend money. We need to also have some say in what happens surrounding that. Just having people to go home and look up in the sky for fireworks on 4th of July at 9 o'clock at night it should be more than that. It's more than that everywhere else that people have fireworks. So if we're talking about spending money, and we think that that is important, which clearly it means a lot to a lot of people, then we should do it right. We should not just have fireworks. We should have activities, and that's a planning that needs to start now on the front end. Not wait until somebody comes to us the month before the 4th of July and say, can you help pay for the fireworks? We need to know what happens at the table in the planning process so that we can take all of our community resources and use them to have a wonderful event for the community rather than just, can
And
you,
don't forget about the unity between the city and the county with this too.
That's right.
I think that was a big thing too, that we showed that unity.
Yeah.
And that I think it's gonna continue. And let me tell you, I went to the fireworks and people was everywhere. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that what you're saying.
This
to
is a
make
big
it
deal.
bigger, because I mean, the people was excited. It was just great for the community. So I like it.
Mr. Chair, staff would ask specifically that, that we consider standing up a ad hoc committee for next 4th of July, as it is a monumental event next year at 250 years, but it's also a monumental event for us. If you look back at Spalding County, it's a big number for us for the number of years that we have been incorporated as well. So, or not incorporated because we are not incorporated, but the number of years that we have been established as a county. So please consider standing up a committee for next year that we can communicate much better, much earlier on what needs to occur as far as the event, because I agree with everything that's been said. Big event, big opportunity, a chance to really highlight the fact that that next year is a monumental year for America and for Spalding County.
While we're on that, one of the archway issues for next year, for this coming year, is to stand up an organization and everybody say, the 250th anniversary of our country is a big deal. And everybody has some kind of next year. The city of Griffin's got a number of years. We've got a number of years. The school department, everybody said they have something to be able to do. So I'm for that. We'll try to sync in with Archway and all the stuff that Archway's got going on with trying to do that. At the next meeting, if you'd come back to us with what it looks like and what we need to do to approve an ad hoc, I would appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Time to vote, right?
Yes, it is.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 6 is the workers' comp claim.
That's correct.
I'm sorry, I don't have the sheet in front of me right now. Tanya, can you just read that?
Absolutely. Make a motion to settle the workers' compensation claim from Michael Carter, State Board of Workers' Compensation Claim Number 2023-032637, in the amount of $60,000.
motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you, Tanya. Old business. Consider appointment of the 911 Director, Ricardo McCrary, to post 3 of the EMS Regional Board. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Consideration of the building code revised for the second reading. Dr. Ledbetter, would you like to go over this for us?
Actually, I think we have Luke
Oh.
Fletcher
Oh.
in the audience this evening, and Miss Stephanie Wyndham is here to support.
Chief of Code Enforcement, please step forward. Thank you. Luke, you're up.
Thank you. We had this reading on June second, the first reading. There were some requests at that reading to be changed. Also, the additions that we were trying to implement into the, ordinances. All of those requests, changes, and, additions to the ordinances have been updated into this, packet that you have in front of you tonight.
Just a comment procedurally so everybody understands how we change ordinances. We have an opportunity, we do the first reading, we go through it in pretty good detail. Then there is the second reading in which we vote to change the ordinance. So we get it all twice to make sure that we're absolutely positive on what we're trying to get done. All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I have some questions. I'll make a motion to approve for the purpose of discussion.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All right, Ms. Gwen, discussion?
So first is to Commissioner Dutton. Did you get a chance to review the technical woods, nails kind
I
of stuff?
haven't since the changes that we requested
Okay.
in front. Again, that's just.
Yep,
I've been
okay.
on my back for
Do we want to,
a month, y'all.
do we want
I'm
to
really
table
sorry.
till he has time?
Yeah, because we're
thinking that
counting
right
on
away.
him
Yep.
to make sure that he read
All
that
right,
piece.
That's
so
not
that
gonna
we
ruin
can-
any timelines or anything, right?
The
Is it?
other
We can table for a month?
Some of the things that Luke is not able to do right now is hold people accountable for, nuisance properties. That is paramount inside of this document. So any delays actually delays the citations for nuisance properties.
How about we pass it, then I'll look back over those changes from 1 to 2 and make sure we got everything. And then if
So-
we need to change further, we can come back.
So can we just pass the part that deals with the nuisance?
We made the change from one, I made the changes from the first reading to the second reading that y'all requested,
And I'm so sorry I haven't.
and there
reviewed it.
was to be a review post the passage of this version to fine tune anything else that needed fine tuning. But I made all the changes on June the 16th from what was requested at the first meeting in June.
So the second question I have is regarding a situation that has been happening at one of the assisted living facilities here. And the issue was that, I think Steve said that our ordinance says that you have to heat a building to, you have to cool a building to 75 degrees.
73 is the number that we have in
Heating or cooling?
cooling.
My upstairs hadn't got cooler than 80. in the
So,
last
so
couple
what
days.
what I'm saying is that this situation was, we're talking about a senior living facility, which clearly people are over 60 there. And everybody knows that when the heat has been as oppressive as it has been, your regular house air conditioning has to be turned down even more just to kind of balance it out. So if you don't have the ability, if you're living in a group building and you don't have the ability to cool and heat your own apartment to a tolerable temperature, and all of our ordinance says that they can only cool up to 75 degrees, y'all know it'd be way hotter than that. So I'm just really concerned that those numbers that we're sticking in here are not really relevant when we have a planet that is heating up every year. And, I mean, I turn my air conditioner on right now. If it's 90-something degrees outside, it's still hot in my house when we got it set at 73 and 74. So I can tolerate it. Young children and old people, I mean, people older than me. I'm old, but I mean older than me. They don't have a good, their body's not able to adjust. And so I don't want us to be in a situation where we say, okay, they've got their thermometer set to 75, but it's really showing that it's 90 in the place. So I don't know how to fix that, but it's an issue that I realized once I asked Steve about the ordinance, and he said that's in here.
Yeah, not just on the meter, but like actual temperature is what it should be measured on. I agree.
So, I mean, that's a technicality I don't really know how to fix, but I know that it's a real problem.
Oh.
So,
All right, we've got really a couple of choices here. We can decide to go ahead and pass what we've got right now without James having had the opportunity, for good reason, to be able to do this. We can turn around and table it and say, wait till James has done that and we've had the opportunity to look at the specific numbers to be able to do it. Of course, we have the opportunity to say no to it altogether. All right, so
I think we pass it. Then if we need to tweak or whatever, then we can come back.
What part of this deals specifically with the nuisance? What actual part of this addresses his ability, code enforcement's ability to address nuisances?
There are a few sections, but there is an added section, regarding noxious weeds and tall grass. And
So this is what we had in the other substandard housing ordinance that is still in effect now, or is not in effect?
it is still in effect, but we added chapter 3, exterior property areas to this one, along with making certain changes, which included screening and, the temperature for heating and cooling of properties.
I mean, I will go along with what three people up here say. I'm just saying we already have that. So why can't Luke obey?
You do not have, the chapter 3, it's a completely new.
No, we
section.
already have the ordinance that talks about how high your grass is, whether or
No,
not
ma'am.
you can have.
No, ma'am,
Well, where is it?
It's not.
it's been gone since 20, several years.
Maybe.
It's gone.
No, I don't understand that. How can it get gone if we don't know that it's gone?
same way that $250,000 we had set aside for reimbursements for health costs. All right,
Okay, I'm just gonna be quiet.
okay. My belief is the best thing we can do right now is go ahead and pass what we've got. In the meantime, before the 21st, you work it out, and if we need to change it on the 21st, we'll fix it again on the 21st. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4. All opposed? 1. All right. Item number 9, report of the county manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you would go forward one for me. Oh, please forgive me. Mr. Chair, there was an oversight, and I would ask that the board amend the agenda this evening to consider a subordination agreement for the park at Rosenwald for the property that the board designated for the housing authority. We sent the material out to the board earlier.
And we knew this was coming. This was something
And
we
you knew
planned
this
all the
was
time.
coming, but I would ask that the board consider amending the agenda for consideration of this agreement.
Motion to amend the agenda for the consideration.
All right, I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussion? All those in
This is
favor of
something we knew
amending
was coming. This is
the agenda, please raise your hand. 5-0. All right, now back to you, Counselor.
Mr. Chairman, this is a subordination agreement that is requested by Bank OZK. They are the lender for the lessee of the ground being Park at Rosenwald Partners LP. So this will be a subordination agreement between Spalding County, the Housing Authority, Park at Rosenwald Partners LP, and Bank OZK. It will subordinate our right of reversion that is included in the conveyance to the Housing Authority of the City of Griffin. And the subordination agreement is required by the lender based on the fact that our right of reversion greatly reduces and in fact completely diminishes the value of their collateral.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, and I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize for that oversight. So I want to start with some good news this evening. Our road resurfacing program through the T-Splost is proceeding very well. In fact, I was sent a picture, well, technically 5 pictures from our road department earlier this evening, just before the meeting started, that ERS now has mobilized their equipment onto Jackson Road. So it appears that they will start the full depth reclamation on Jackson Road either Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Please understand this will impact the travel on Jackson Road for the next few weeks. Yep. They are going to do full depth reclamation. What that means is they are going to take the road all the way down to the clay surface and rebuild that road completely to Spalding County standards for a good surface, because the road is in such bad condition. So a month from now, we will all be happy driving up and down the county portion of Jackson Road. But for the next 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for us traversing back and forth on Jackson Road, because they are going to close portions of the road down to 1 lane while they do the work. So please be patient with that group. The rest of the program is progressing very well. They are on schedule to complete before November. So that's great news for our community. This is year 4 for our T-Splost, and it's working quite well. The next part that I want to share with our community is some sad news, and I really would ask that you provide some feedback for us. But over the course of the last few weeks, I've asked our 911 center to provide information concerning the number of suicides and suicide attempts in our community. Last year versus this year, the numbers have doubled. So I want to reiterate. In 2024, January through December, there were 58 reported calls that were suicides or suicide attempts. In 2025, January through June the 23rd, we've had 44 reported calls. So if you continue looking at the numbers and progressing that number count out through the end of the year, we will double the number of suicide or suicide attempts this year over last year. I'm sad to report that we had 3 additional suicide or suicide attempts just over the course of the July 4th holiday. I'm thankful, and I want to give consideration to the Board of Commissioners for commissioning a mental health task force. The information should be used, the information that I just shared should be used to discuss options in support of addressing the tremendous tragedy that's going on, not just in our community, but across our state. If you know of someone who is experiencing issues, please don't wait. Pick the phone up and make a phone call and indicate that the individual needs support and help, and then help them get the support that they need. I also want to provide an update for Handlighter. So the Handlighter property that we discussed earlier this evening, our construction crew has been working to finalize the upgrades, the life safety upgrades for the facility. The portion that will be designated for Waypoint will be complete by the first week of August. That's what we're hearing right now, barring any other issues that we run into. But we're progressing quite well. The work that this crew has performed is just stellar. Very pleased with what they've been able to accomplish just over the last few months, and we're excited about moving forward with that facility. I have a phone call with Towers to Tunnels on Wednesday. They are interested in supporting and helping in our community, and I just want to say thank you for the opportunity just to be able to speak with the representatives from that organization. They reached back out to us and indicated that they had heard about the work that we were doing, so thank you to them. What a great organization. Also want to say thank you to many of the counties across the state, from Henry County to goodness, there are so many. 3 or 4 other of the counties across the state who have donated material and items for this facility and supported the efforts through coming here locally to help us in the renovation project. So kudos to each one of them, and I will get the names and get those posted out through our social media sites, because it's great that we've got a lot of support for this facility. I also want to ask our Deputy County Manager to provide an update for the collection center. So she will share with us here in just a moment.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, contrary to the rumors, we are not closing the collection centers. If you would please forward the slide. Okay, I guess it's not available. I'm sure all of you have seen these colorful, what we like to call the little bingo cards now, which is the new collection center hours. The collection centers are now on a rotating schedule. Our Aiken Collection Center will operate on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon. The Blaylock and Cabin will be open 2 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Carver and Woodruff will also be open 2 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It will rotate. For example, the second week in July, Carver and Woodruff will be open on Monday and Friday. Blaylock and Cabin will be open on Tuesday and Saturday. Then the following week, they will rotate. Carver and Woodruff will be open on Tuesday and Saturday. Blaylock and Cabin will be open on Monday and Friday. All the centers will be closed on Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and all state and federal holidays. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call the Spalding County Collection Center's Recycling or Disposals. The number is 770-467-4774. And if you would like to see the calendar, you can go on our social media site, on Facebook. It's in Spalding, and it's also on our website at spaldingcounty.com. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Watts?
Yes, I would like to say that we had the Juneteenth event, and it's not last time, the only time that I had to talk about it right now. But we had the Juneteenth event, and it was great. And then we had the 4th of July event, which was great. And I love this because, I mean, the diversity for both. To see at Juneteenth, the diversity that we had in the 4th of July. And somebody asked me, and they said, well, Commissioner Watts, how can you celebrate Juneteenth and the 4th? And I said, because I'm an American, and it's an American experience. And yeah, I probably wasn't free on 4th of July, and I know that. And I'm not, it's not something that I don't know that it happened. But Juneteenth, yeah, that's the freedom that I celebrate. And I'm glad that the people came in and respected that. And I think that was great for the community, and I wish the community continue to do that. So thank you, guys. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Bolden?
Just a reminder, on Saturday, July 12th, we're having another listening session at Fairview Baptist Church on the District 4 side. Come on out and talk to us. For the trash centers, I know it's confusing, And originally, and this is, I'm not scolding anybody, but you gotta get involved. During the budget meetings, this was all discussed. It was originally discussed that we're closing them all down, and several of us didn't like it. But it was all being closed down. The only ones gonna be left open was Carver Road and the one on Old Atlanta. And we felt that wasn't fair, so that's why we tried to spread it out and open them up a couple days a week for all the rest of them. But just get involved. I mean, you come to these meetings, you hear the discussions, you hear who's fighting for what and who's not. For the pools, I didn't really speak on the pool deal a while ago. I pay taxes just like anybody else. I don't personally use the trash centers. I don't use any of the parks. But to see a kid smile and have a good time at the pool is worth every cent. It comes out of my tax money, as far as I'm concerned. That's all I got.
Mr. Chairman, I am probably the first commissioner who will admit when we've done something and it don't work, this is not working the way I thought it was gonna work for the
Collection
the
centers?
collection centers.
Yes.
I always get confused because I wasn't in Georgia, I was in the military then when that vote came. But everything that I've ever heard was that the SPLOST vote was for a recycling center. So, I don't know whenever we stopped recycling, but it morphed itself into the collection centers. So I get a little bit confused when folks start talking about we used to be able to do blah, blah, blah. But I've had two people over the weekend to call me. I couldn't make hide or hair out of that schedule. I mean, nothing, I love you to death. But that schedule is screwed up.
That's crazy.
Because I already can't see little bitty writing. And that we just need to do something. That is not working. I think I didn't even know that we decided that we were going to give a little bit here, a little bit there. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But people need to know a day. And they need to know a time and not one. Because I'm writing down everything I do every day to remember what I did.
Yeah.
So I don't need to try to figure out which week I can take my trash over here or over here. We got to do better. That we need to go back to the drawing board. And I'm not saying to anyone we need to go back and open them all up. But if they're going to be open, they should be convenient to the citizens, not convenient to our staff. And they should be somehow the schedule needs to be where people can understand it, and it needs to make sense. So whatever we got, if y'all are willing, we need to go back and just relook at that. It just needs to be more uniform so people can understand it. It's bad enough that everybody can't take their trash every day. Now they don't know when they can take it, if they can take it. We just need to fix it. That's all I got.
Vice Chair?
I got a whole list. You ready? First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for their prayers and support while I've been recovering. I'm still in recovery. I didn't know I was going to make it tonight. I'm very uncomfortable right now, but I just appreciate everybody's support. We have the dedication and the historical marker for the Our Legacy Museum coming up. I hope to see everybody there. We might have to notice that for quorum as well. Speaking of noticing for quorum, the 4th of July parade was fantastic. Well attended. If you haven't gone online and seen who won what, boy, Spalding County turned out big. We had a whole fleet there, so that's really cool to show. Sort of put on display what your tax money's buying you. Hey, look at what, not just the sheriff's trucks, but the fire trucks and the Parks and Leisure stuff. So.
I also want to thank you for being part of the evaluating committee.
It's a little nerve-wracking sometimes because you go, man, that's a really cool Model T, but those little girls on that float are really cute. These little cheerleaders or whatever we got, or this soccer team. You kind of go, well, okay, I know they're 8-year-olds, they're gonna win. I want to thank Dr. Ledbetter for all the hard work that he did on his capstone project. This is going to mean a shift in Spalding County for the good in such a humongous way. It perfectly coincided with the new sort of make America great again, bringing manufacturing back to the United States, we now have an absolute perfect storm of groups and companies wanting to come here and open up businesses and, green industry that are going to bring really good jobs. And I've said it before, but I kind of want to say it publicly here. I met with the Consul General from the Czech Republic. They said, hey, we have a couple that would like to meet you. So we've organized a trip for me and several others to go to the Czech Republic to meet with them, these big CEOs of multinational corporations who would love to come to Spalding County and open up manufacturing. Word got out among all of those CEOs, and now the line is out the door to meet our delegation, so much so that we've switched from meetings to having an entire sort of concert hall and a presentation that we're going to give to people from all over Eastern Europe that are flying in to hear our presentation about this is why you should come to Spalding County to open, and they're selling the event out. The future looks bright for Spalding County, both in terms of jobs and our budget, and moving that triangle away from 94% paid by by the residential taxes and onto industrial taxes, while maintaining the high standards that we have for, green, no emissions. It can't look like 155, can't look like 16 through Coweta. We've got very high standards, so really excited about the future here. This was something I kind of want to put a bug in y'all's ear about this as well. I spoke to everyone on my right about it, but not y'all. Now that the commission has decided to renovate what used to be Jan's next door, it might be a good chance for us to move the magistrate court from the courthouse here. The only time that they interact with detainees is actually in the courthouse. In the courtroom in the jail. So here, that's where we could do all the code enforcement court right here, and Judge Kavanaugh, who again, longest serving judge in the history of Georgia, not just currently, but in all of Georgia history. She's the longest serving judge, and she's still active. Could have a courtroom there. She does a fantastic job. And then her staff could move in here. That would also give us more room in the courthouse. I just think it's a good idea. I want to brag a little bit as well about our fantastic CI. You saw the awards tonight. This is some loyalty from our employees. We've got an amazing clerk's office. I deal with clerk's offices all over the state, and some of them are not up to Debbie Brooks's standard. Is that a polite way to put that? And the same thing with our senior center. We've just got, you hardly ever hear even a hiccup happen at the senior center. It's just positive news. It's just a wonderful facility. But I do want to talk about the collection centers. What we were during budget time, and I know the state changed our budget timeline, and we had to crunch it in a little early. And even the night that we voted on it, it was, hey, go back. We're going to change this. We got to make this work better. And then I'm sorry that I've been out and sort of.
It's okay.
But I was looking on Facebook and I saw that calendar and went, "What is this? What does this mean?" Like, I don't think that you could have. Rube Goldberg couldn't have designed a more confusing way to. It makes no sense. It displays what's happening, but why to do it like that makes no sense. In my opinion, it does make sense to put the resources where the resources are being used. More than 70% of the trash that is collected at the 5 centers is collected by 2 of the centers. It makes sense to expand the hours there. They were open 4 days a week, making them open 5 days a week makes total sense. Well, how do you pay for that? Well, we have centers where 5% of the trash is being picked up. Well, that's open 4 days of the week too. So let's lower that to 1 day a week. Not closing it, but now instead of it being open more, let's put it where 70% is going. That's efficiency work. In my opinion, and I'd love to see numbers on this, and I'd love to see them very soon so that we can make some changes here. in my opinion, the two largest need to be open 5 days a week. Closed on Wednesdays and Sundays. I think they should all be closed on Sundays. That's not a day we want to make people work unless they're, keeping us safe. And then the other three should be open that Wednesday. What this does is it gives us 6 days a week of total. So we've actually expanded the availability from what it was and shifted our resources so that where most people are using the things, that's expanded. And everyone knows, hey, these smaller centers, they're open on Wednesdays. And Carver Road is not open on Wednesdays. But hey, if I gotta take my trash on Wednesday and I live near Carver, well, I can still take it to Aikens. I can still take it to Blaylock. And if I can't take it on Wednesdays, I've got to take it, then I'm so sorry, you've got to drive to Carver. So even that is going to bother some people, but you're looking at how do we maximize that tax revenue? How do we maximize that spend for what we're charging people to own a house, to own a business here in Spalding County? And the idea of keeping them all open all the time like we had it, when again 70%, more than 70% of the trash was collected by two of the centers, that doesn't make any sense. If there's 2 roads that everyone drives and 3 roads that nobody drives, you turn those 2 roads into highways, and then you know what I mean? Like, you expand the lanes there. That's really what this should be. So obviously in this change, we've saved a ton of taxpayer money. And I know that it's going to cost us more, obviously, to expand it back open in the hundreds of thousands. But I think that just like we've made changes before, just like we'll make changes in the future, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. This is not working, and we need to change it, and we need to change it quick. Last thing, go vote July 15th. If you voted in the last primary and didn't vote as well, go and vote. That was you got to check both boxes, right? Yes. Yes.
All right. I want to remind the commissioners, we've got a number of things coming up. The listening session on the 12th. Then we've got a public zoning on the 14th. On the 21st, we've got our regular extraordinary meeting. The 24th, we've got a public zoning meeting. On the 31st is the first day of school, and so we're trying to get folks to go out and meet the kids and do that.
Do we have someone on the 10th?
On what?
The 10th?
It's Board of Zoning Appeals.
Yeah. All right. I want to make a comment about Grayson Park. I've been raising hell about Grayson Park and not being up to standard. I just drove through it. That place looks a whole lot better. Really? They've done a number of things that I think from where they were to move in the direction we want them to move in. I'm pretty pleased with the effort that community development has made on telling them they either move or they're going to get in trouble. So the word's been passed out, and that's really going well. I'm excited about us closing on the veterans and the homeless action. That's a long time coming, and I'm excited about what we're doing for our citizens that fall in that group. I agree with everybody. We got to do something about the collection centers. However, this was basically week 1. If you had given it, I had the opportunity to talk to people in Troup County, and they said their week 1 was just like our week 1. It was bad, and by the time they got to week 3, everything was squared away and it was all working fine. So I've got confidence that the county manager will work to get this to make it easier. Jackson Road, please start passing the word. It's going to be messy. If you're trying to drive on Jackson Road, it's going to turn into 1 lane, and it's going to be slow. And you're going to be able to wait while one comes, and then you come, and then they come. So there's going to be a lot of messy on Jackson Road when we start doing it. It's badly needed, but this is the price we pay to get it done right. The county manager talked about suicides. Please do something to help somebody. if you see somebody in need, worst case, get them on 988. That's the best thing you can do for them, just about. If you can get them to talk on the phone, 988 is our mental health issue. They know how to talk people off the ledge. They know how to do that. Please, so if you don't know what else to do, get them on the phone with 988. Don't leave them alone, please. We're seeing the results of people, I believe, walking by and not doing what could be done. If you've ever been in the situation, well, enough said, please do the right kinds of things on that. I want to make a comment about what Commissioner Watts said, the July parade and the Juneteenth parade. Both of those were great. It was an opportunity to see people out excited about going through and doing it. Little kids jumping up and down, screaming about Happy Birthday America and doing things like that. I'm not sure they understood it all, but it starts the way we want people to do about our past and what we're going to try to do about our future. Lastly, I want to thank the commissioners for what they've been doing. This has really been kind of a tough time for us, and we've been able to pull it together. I appreciate everybody coming together and working for the different things around our county, being able to stand up when the time comes and take the decisions we make, and not all the decisions we make have to be beat up on. Dr. Ledbetter, some of those we take ourselves and say, yes, I made that decision, I voted that way. Dr. Ledbetter is executing what we ask him to do, which we think is the best for the county. Not everybody, we understand that being a commissioner, it doesn't really matter which way we vote. There's going to always be people who are not happy with the way we're voting. That's okay if we have a vision and can articulate it to people so they understand where we're trying to go. With that, let me see if there's county attorney,
No, sir.
citizen engagement.
Yes, sir. Just briefly, first of all, I want to say thank you all for allowing me to be a part of this team. I've actually made it a year here with Spalding County. It's been great.
Congratulations.
That's a great thing, and I look forward to doing even greater things. And I just wanted to say, Commissioner Boland talked about the listening tour, but we emphasize that's on July the 12th, but we'll be going to listening at the Legacy on July the 19th. And it's going to be a little bit differently, as you heard Kelly talk about it. But we want to give the citizens an opportunity to see what we have in the works. But at the end of that, we will have time set up for them to be able to connect with the commissioner via some coffee or something in a room that we have set aside. So I really hope you all place that on your calendar. But I also wanted to say Spalding County has some wonderful people working for us, doing a job serving the citizens in ways that I knew nothing about, even have lived here for 30 years. And so on July the 30th, we want to honor them, Staff Appreciation. So if you all could put that on your calendar to come out to the Aquatic Center between 11 to 2 and then from 5 to 7, we're just going to be honoring and just letting the staff know that we really do appreciate them. And the theme is a tidal wave of thanks for all that you do for Spalding County citizens. So please place that on your calendar.
What's the date?
July 30th.
30th.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Last call.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. We are.